So after my video on why we shouldn't arm teachers with guns, had a lot of comments and discussion, and some people were able to keep it without ad hominem and personal attacks, and others didn't. But one of the points that was really challenging to some people is I think I briefly mentioned that I don't believe that school resource officers should be armed in schools, and what's more, I don't think school resource officers should be in schools. Um, I believe that ever since Columbine, there's been like this big push to have a police officer stationed at schools, school safety officers and things like that. But I think when you look at the data, you see that they have more often been used against students, particularly black and brown students, that has fueled the school to prison pipeline and has been aided by the racial disparity in school discipline. And so that's why I said that originally. And I think that comes up a lot. This conversation comes up a lot when we talk about school safety, because I've also seen people talk about, well, we need to put metal detectors in school and guards at the door and things like that. And I think those are all bad ideas. I think personally, I do not want to see the militarization of our public schools. People talk about schools being soft targets a lot. Well, there's a lot of soft targets. There's a lot of places that have innocent people that most likely aren't carrying weapons and things like that. We don't need to turn it into the Wild West. But more importantly, I think the issue that I have with metal detectors, with security guards, with putting police in schools, in with arming teachers, is that we have such racial disparities when it comes to school discipline, to perceived threat. We know that young black men are seen to be about 4 to 5 years older than they actually are, and so that tends to make them seem more threatening to people. We also know that use of force and all that in policing communities, there's disparity about how it's used against people of color, and so we bring that into our schools. It really makes me worry about how we haven't solved the school discipline issues in the school to prison pipeline, and yet we'd be adding more resources in that could potentially harm our students of color more than our other students. And I think that's something that white people need to deal with, the fact that we should not be trading safety for safety. Like, we shouldn't be saying, oh, this will keep my kids more safe, so I want to have it, when the data does show that it would actually probably put students of color more at risk, more in harm's way. And so until we tackle some of these systemic racial issues in the education system, in the criminal justice system, I'm not comfortable adding more elements of the criminal justice system into our schools. And I've been trying to center myself in it, and just read something that Jameel Hill posted from ESPN, and she talked about growing up and having metal detectors and feeling safe and things like that. And so there's definitely plenty of perspective out there that would disagree with it, but I worry about what that looks like when these security measures are put in place, when you look at the systemic racial issues within those systems. It just seems like it would exacerbate them. So I'm not really willing to trade my student of color safety for my white student safety. We need to get more comprehensive reform and things in place that protect and create a safe learning environment for all of our students. So I'm going to keep thinking about that, and talking to more people and see what their perspectives are. But I really don't want to see our schools turn into security checkpoints and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. There is no easy solutions, and people are going to get upset at whatever is proposed. I'm really proud of the students in Florida and across the nation that are really standing up for this, and I'm excited to see how they continue to lead. We've already seen changes in politicians, as well as corporations that have changed their stances and their position because of the youth getting out their perspective. And so, the out of the mouth of babes. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Yeah.